Hello, welcome to another thrilling episode of the Postmodern Polymath Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. It's my birthday, and I know y'all are excited. This is episode 123. I have a guest this week who probably most of y'all know already. You've probably seen him, well, not seen him, but you've seen him on my Facebook page. If y'all are my friends, he posts craziness. And yeah, and he does Angry Black Rant. He's the co-host or main host. So, without further ado, I will be welcoming Jon Livingston. How's it going, John?
Doing all right, Chris, and yourself?
Man, I am super spectacular.
Good. Happy
Loving.
birthday.
Yeah, thanks, man. So 46 is the height of midlife crisis. I read. So, I'm super glad to be there. I'm just gonna go buy a car today.
Oh,
Because but
well, that's good. You don't look a day over 50.
well, fuck you too, sir. Fuck you too. Um, why don't you tell our lovely watchers slash listeners about yourself?
All right, so I'm John. I am currently the one of the co-hosts of Angry Black Rant. Um, we were co-hosts because it's Ishmael's baby. He's always going to be there, so he's the main guy. I'm just the side guy comes in to do what needs to be done. But 40 couple kids that are watching Powerpuff Girls in the background there. Um, that's pretty much it. I work in telecommunications. There's nothing really special about me other than I'm a very anti-theist and vehemently want to see the system burnt down. I don't care for Republicans or Democrats. I
Uh, there's
tor-
there's
torch the Constitution, start over type
there's
person.
our there's our subject right there. Um, yeah, I've actually met John once at the last Reason Con, the last and the last Reason Con,
Right.
which was Jesus. How long ago was that? 3
That
years ago.
was 3, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while back.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's
he had
funny. I
a. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know who you were. It's like, who is this crazy cracker coming up to me
Ah!
with this weird beard? Hey, I'm a podunk polymath. Okay.
Okay, crazy white man.
I hadn't heard your podcast at the time, so I didn't know anything.
That's okay. Most people hadn't. But yeah, you had a sign around your neck that said "Not Ishmael." I'm not Ishmael or something.
Right. Yeah, there were only maybe 10 black people there, and I was one of the few males, black males there. So everybody, um, who was it? Habeas Humor, Scathing Atheist, everybody. Ishmael, how you doing? I'm not. Who is Ishmael? It's like so. I ended up talking with what was her name? Alice Ashton, and 'cause she had this awesome like bodice thing going on. I was like, I just need to take a picture of that. But she was like, or people have been calling me Callie Wright all day,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
and no, not Alice. Not it was that happened to Alice too, but it was the Amazon purple. Why can't I think of your
Marissa.
name? Marissa, right? Sorry, Marissa, I forgot your name for a second there. But we ended up doing. She had a not Callie, and I did a not Ish, and it worked. People still came up, read it, and said hi, Ishmael. But okay,
People.
I guess.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was for me. That was a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
That was
Mad that they stopped it. The bums.
Yeah, he just got tired of it. He could have, I mean, it's his thing, but I just wonder if he couldn't have, as popular as it seemed like he could pass the torch or something, but
Well, yeah, there really wasn't and still isn't any major atheist conventions or skeptical conventions in the South. So, I mean, that's what made it such a, hate to use the word, but such a godsend. Because I'm not going to Chicago for pretty much anything.
yeah, that's where women of color beyond belief
Right,
is.
right. And the SGUs, Skeptic Guide to the Universe's cons, or I'm not going to the other side of the country to express my atheistic belief, you know?
I don't know. There used to be one in Florida, but I don't think they do that anymore either. And that even anyway, that's further down the state. It's not the Panhandle.
Right.
So, um, yeah, it's kind of fucked. And like I mean, we had Nanocon here, but that never caught for whatever reason. Bad management, in my opinion. But
That in
whatever.
Tennessee, I mean.
I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about location, I mean, it's pretty much the middle. I mean,
Yeah, but
so I
it's the
mean,
middle of Tennessee is the problem.
look here, man. Don't act like you live in some sort of
True.
fashion
Yeah,
paradise or something.
I'm maybe half a step up in South Carolina here, but
Okay. All right, man.
maybe, possibly.
So we in South Carolina, right?
Right.
What the fuck is even in? No one even knows. It's like,
Just Myrtle Beach.
yeah, it's like North Carolina is like the big one, and nobody even fucking knows what's going
And
on in
yeah,
South Carolina.
North Carolina is the good Carolina. It pretty much always has been.
Yeah, well, I think that's questionable, but anyway, I'm going to North Carolina Labor Day. So
Cool.
anyway, so we didn't have really a set topic, but then I remembered your your views about voting and such. Now, of course, we don't have anything going on right now. Everything's peachy keen,
Of course.
you know. However, oh, and show your Angry Black Rant.
Yeah. Let's see, here it goes. My
I mean, if you're,
sister,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, my sister made it. She sells them on her website, Adele's Arrows. Made quite a few for some of the members of the Angry Black Rant group and some of the people who've come onto it. So it's my favorite cup. It's my alcohol cup now. My
Dang.
my kids know not to drink whatever's in it ever. Period. They don't they don't have to wash it. They don't have to touch it. If it's in the floor, they walk around it. This this is the grown up people.
Okay. uh, so anyway, and I asked you, I forgot where it was, but this came up. We were I posted something. I posted this long thing about why you should vote for Biden unless even if you hate him, blah blah blah. And then you said something. I forgot what you said, and that's how this never stops or something. And anyway, revealed that you are either not voting or voting third party. I can't remember which.
Yeah, depends on if Kanye gets the ballot in South Carolina. But yeah, I'm not going to be voting for president. I do all of the local and Senate and all that other, but Biden and Trump, I'm not going to say it's all the same, but as I said at the beginning, I've long held that this country is on the brink of, or this country's too big and needs to be rebooted.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that actually.
Choosing between the lesser of two evils, one, you are still getting an evil, which is always bad by definition. And two, it's putting a band-aid on a severed arm. Doing it's not doing the good that you're thinking it is. It's just stretching all the pain out. Start over, new constitution, which I know is never going to happen, or at the very, very least, the democracy that we export everywhere else, where every other country that we've brought democracy to has a parliamentarian system. It's not just two fighting between themselves. You have to build an actual coalition between each of the parties that are running, because the top guy gets 38% of the seats. The second guy gets 33. The third guy gets et cetera, et cetera. And you have to build that coalition to get over 50% in order to do stuff. If that was the system, yeah, I could see voting. But this Democrat, Republican, yeah, it's all the same shit.
Okay, so, and I'm gonna kind of go back to what, because I said a lot of shit. Well, kind of a rant, I guess you could say, when I posted about that. But so I guess some of my concern, I don't disagree with you that it's too big, and I've always thought it's just ridiculous. We need to split it off into different regions. Let the South go, but let me get the fuck up out of here first, you know, before it splits off. um,
well, well,
Go ahead.
I'm not even regions like the Northeast and the South and the West and Midwest. I think those are too big.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking more along a state up until the U.S. was created meant a full nation. So Germany was a state, or England was a state. Have Georgia as its own separate freaking state, its own freaking country. South Carolina has its own country. North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. True, some of the smaller ones are going to get eaten up. The two Carolinas will probably come together to form one again, just like Virginia's would probably do it. But I'm thinking somewhere along 30 or so different countries in the landmass that the USA currently occupies.
Hmm. Definitely interesting concept. And I don't disagree with you. Like I said, it's just way too fucking big. And as far as a parliamentary, also, I agree with that. Um, my biggest point, I guess, was for a couple of things. First, of course, one of the major ones as a social justice warrior, or whatever you want to call it, social justice advocate, whatever the fuck, armchair SJW, I don't fucking know, is like what's going to happen if Trump gets reelected. Now, you could argue that if he wins, it's not because people. It's because Democrats couldn't convince enough people to vote for them, right? And I'm not a big fan of shaming people, third party especially. That's never rang true for me anyway, because not enough of them vote, and honestly, I just they always do that. They blame the third parties whenever they lose, and it's just a cop out to me, right? I mean,
Right.
but I feel like in our system, it's a two-party system, so it's pretty much there's not really a way for other parties to get involved. So I just wonder what you think about the side where they say, well, you're letting down privileged groups if you don't vote for Biden or whatever.
So yes, there would be weeping and gnashing of teeth if Trump, or rather when Trump gets reelected, because one, I don't think Biden and Harris are going to defeat him, and if even if they do vote wise, how the Electoral College is set up, which again is something that I despise. How the Electoral College is set up, and how Trump has stacked the courts in his favor, and the type of person that he is. I could see him not leaving, and there are enough people who support him in high positions of power in both the military and in all sorts of government that support him, that it would be a nice little fight to get him out of office and to get him from keep him from sabotaging anything that happens after him. Um, but I agree with you. Third parties tend not to do well, but that's largely because the system is rigged against them. Ever since the Bull Moose Party, um, that's Teddy Roosevelt back in the 20s or 30s, I can't remember which one, came close to to upsetting the apple cart. The RNC and the DNC have made it almost impossible for someone to even get on the stage with them in debates, let alone go the full the full race, unless they're independently wealthy, and even then they pretty much know that they're not going to win. They're just there to pull one side to the left or right, one way or the other. Um, my thing with the whole not voting at all is right now, and for most of my life, my parents' lives, the Democratic Party can count on the black vote. Because they can count on the black vote, they don't take it into account. They will have um, pretty speeches about it and say yes, we're with you, and show up in kente cloth on the uh, on the house floor. But when it's all said and done, nothing happens. It's either incremental, like slow incremental change, or nothing at all. They put on the show during election time and then forget about us the rest of the 4 years. And it either our memory is so bad, or it's that whole lesser of two evils. You're still not as bad as the other guys, so I'm going to stick with you. They know they can count on it, so that keeps happening again and again and again and again. It's what's happening now with Biden and Harris. Why he chose a woman of color as opposed to just just a woman. So hey, look, I'm doing something. This is what we're doing this decade for you.
Mhm.
So, so we've got you in the bag for another 8 years or so. Whether we win or lose, you're still going to be on our side. See, we do things like this. The other people don't. So we're better than the robe wearing Klansmen in the Republican side, because we don't wear robes like that.
No.
But but the thing is, how new parties get formed, how the Republican Party was formed, um, was enough people were like, you know what, we're just not going to vote for you. Period. Once the Democratic Party realizes, or once people of color realize that if we just say no, just sit it out. One, the Democrats won't win that election. I mean, or anywhere, because the the they need our vote to win in almost everywhere, because we're just that big. But even half of us just sat it out, just one election, just sat it out, did not voting for Republicans, just not voting, period, they would be like, oh shit, we need to figure out what the hell we did wrong and fix it. Or what's going to happen is those somebody else is going to come along and figure it out for us, and we'll have another party in that we have to contend with. But this whole voting for the lesser of two evils, it's it's bullshit. It's still evil.
Hmm. So, and already people don't vote. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a pretty large percentage of people who don't vote in the first place. So I just wonder what the critical mass would be before you think that would happen.
Not sure, but we are nowhere near that now. I mean, it's yeah, there's a lot of people who don't vote. My first vote was for Barack. The first time I didn't vote for him. The second time I didn't vote that year. And that was only because of the historical nature of it. I didn't think he was going to win. I was shocked and surprised that he won, but that was my first time voting in 2016ish, something like that. I don't know. Um, no, 2012. Yeah.
Jesus.
Um,
You're so young.
I'm only 6 years younger than you. Shit. um, but I don't know what that critical mass would be. A lot of people who don't vote now, they're not counted one way or the other in the Democratic machinations. I'm talking about the ones who vote blue no matter who, down ticket all the time because my grandma and my great grandma fought for the right to vote and this that, which again, we don't have a constitutional right to vote. I mean, it starts the rot in this country starts in 1776, or actually it starts a lot before then, 1619, but still, it starts with the Constitution. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says that you or me or anyone else has a right to vote. It's not written in there anywhere.
Hmm. Yeah.
It says the right, you can't stop someone for voting because of their race or sex or et cetera, et cetera. But nowhere in the Constitution, nowhere in the Bill of Rights does it say that if you are XYZ, you can vote. This is your right to vote. It's not there.
I mean, maybe I don't know. That sounds kind of pedantic to me. I mean,
Well, no, I mean it is, and again, I'm I I'm a pedant, I guess.
oh, I know.
When it comes to the Constitution, but the reason for that and the reason for the Electoral College was because the founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, did not want to have the masses picking who was in charge.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. They wanted wealthy landowners and wealthy merchants to be able to choose who and what happens uh, government wise in this country. That's the sole reason for the Electoral College. That's the sole reason for the Senate and the Congress, because it's not your vote. You vote directly for the president. It's not that you vote directly for your senator or what have you, and make the laws that way. You vote for the people who vote for the people who vote for the president.
Right. Yeah. Which is ridiculous. I don't. I still don't understand why that. And of course, some states have formed a compact where they pledge that whoever wins the electoral vote in that state will vote for the for the president or whatever, which is supposed to, I guess, offset the electoral college rule or whatever. But I don't know. To me, unless you get enough people to do it, I don't see that it's going to make that much of a difference.
Well, yeah, unless you get enough people, and it has to be the right states. Because I think the ones that have that type of compact have like 5 or 10. electoral college votes to begin with. So it's not like they're going to be tipping the scale one or the other. It's not like it's California or Florida or New York or somewhere that it can actually sway the vote, sway the decision one way or the other. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, I could see California maybe doing something like that, but there would be a hell of a fight since it's got so many electoral votes. Then that would be
Right.
there'd be a lot of interest in not letting that. But they're already going blue anyway, so I don't really know how much of a difference it would make. And like you said, the swing states or the battleground states would be the ones, I guess. I think Texas is going to be the next one that flips. Probably, well, they're going to try to. Of course, they keep trying to suppress the vote, but you know,
Oh,
the the, the crackers down there just
yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. I've seen a few people on Facebook who said that they've received notices, their absentee ballots for other people. So, hey,
oh my shit.
I want a cat again.
What?
I got kids instead of cats, so
Well, I got cats instead of kids.
I'm not sure which one of us came out the better on that one, but
The one with more money,
so
me.
you, right. But I've seen people on Facebook showing where absentee ballots were sent to the wrong place, um, or to the wrong person. I've seen places where in the last election they just held up the ballots that they weren't counted, they weren't registered in time, so they just didn't matter. You know, there are ways to stop the vote that have been going on for a while and will continue to go on. But as long as it's still the lesser of two evils, I mean, yeah, they're not the same, but you're 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 deciding on whether to get shot in the arm or the leg. I mean, it's it's not a good look either way.
What would you say to people who say that you're putting people who marginalized groups' lives in danger by not voting for Biden? Or, like LGBT
I
women.
understand, and
Sorry.
and yeah, I understand. And one, I'm in South Carolina, so it's not going to matter regardless here. There's no way that Biden wins South Carolina. It's just not going to happen. Uh, just like there's a chance he might win in Tennessee. Chance, maybe, possibly.
No.
Okay, so I'm wrong. So
Georgia,
so
maybe.
yeah, but there are places where it would make sense. So if I were in one of the swing states, hell, if I was in North Carolina, which it is, it's real purple.
Yeah, yeah.
It's real purple there. I would have I would have a different opinion on it, or I'd have the same opinion, but I'd still go ahead and vote. I'd bite the pillow and and vote for Biden and Harrison. But with where I am, me voting for Biden versus not voting at all isn't going to make it a shred of difference. For those who are in a place where it would make a difference, again, vote your conscience. I mean, I'm not telling anyone uh, to do something against what they feel is right, but just know that it's not going to. It's the time has passed for these incremental steps. You know,
Oh yeah, I know. We've
I
been
mean,
seeing the results of that here lately.
hmm, one of the one of the things I hated in the last couple of weeks was the whole John Lewis is a hero, and John Lewis did this for 60 years in Congress, and like, oh, yes, young John Lewis did some wonderful things. He got the ball rolling. But if you've been in Congress for 60 years and you're still fighting for the things that you were fighting for when you started in Congress, fuck you. I'm sorry, but I mean, what did you do? You know?
Yeah, I've had that thought too. Honestly, I mean, you can only do so much. Let's be real. I mean,
True. I understand. So pick the one thing and do that. Forget about everything else. But you've been running election after election for decades on the exact same thing. Not that there's incremental change with what you've done. I love your cat.
she's all up on it. Leave me the fuck alone any other time, but let me come up here.
So you put some catnip in your beard, and
there's stuff in here. I don't know if it's catnip.
but the if you were fighting the same fighting for the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and not getting any results, then you're part of the problem. Either leave and let somebody more capable do it, or find something else to fight over, because you're not helping anything. There's and again, it goes back to how the system's set up with the two parties, with how it's set up constitutionally. It's not designed to help marginalized people. The minorities, men, women, LGBTQ, people of color in general. If you're not white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant male, the system was not designed to help you. Landowning, right? I apologize. I should have put that in as well. And everybody says we're trying to fix it from the inside. We're trying to fix the system. It's not broken. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And until people realize that, I mean, we're just spinning our wheels.
I think there's been more realization of that. Of course, it's not nearly enough. The problem, and you're completely right about all that. Obviously, you get stuck in Congress that long and you ain't doing shit. Then come on, what are you doing, right? And I'm thinking we're starting to see. I think Dan Arrow has and I saw an interesting post by him. Basically, I'm not talking about politics anymore. I'm just going to go out in the streets and try to help people and shit. And that's where you start from the local level. It's never going to come from the top down. It's just not. You're going to have to get it. You're going to have to start local, help people locally, and just kind of go from there. I don't think you're not going to get any real change through our current system.
I'm with you there. That's one of the only reason why I'm not upset at the Trump presidency or the idea that he might have another 4 years. Trump is a symptom. Trump is what this country really is at its heart. Capitalist, self-serving, capitalist, selfish, self-serving. That's what this country is. Doesn't care about anyone other than his own class and his cronies. Racist as fuck as well. No, it's not racist and misogynist and all that other
ableist.
Right.
Anti-immigrant.
The thing with Trump is that You remember that movie They Live?
Yeah, I just watched it recently, actually.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you're just seeing what people have been uh, describing in this country for since it's begun. Um, it's always been there. He's just out in the open with it.
Right. Yeah. No, totally. I agree with you. Yeah.
And his followers are people who are like, hell yeah, I'm tired of having to hide what I really feel because of being PC or what have you. I can finally wear my robe with pride now. I mean, my red hat with pride now because it's always been there.
Yeah.
And
It's yeah.
and having it being exposed, even as horrendous as his actions have been for real people, for people that we both know, as horrendous as those actions have been, having that being exposed is a huge step in correcting it and going a different direction. Just like with uh, the Holocaust, everyone says that people say that World War II was there to help protect the Jews, and people didn't know about what was going on with the Jews until, in the U.S. at least, until the end. But once those pictures of emaciated prisoners came out and the mass graves and all, that's when the outcry came in. That's why it's illegal to have a swastika in Germany right now, and that even remotely associating yourself with Nazism before Trump was a political and social death sentence for you because of that hue and cry, because of the atrocities that happened. Would I want the Holocaust to have happened? No, but that's what was needed to open people's eyes. Trump is like that in my book. Do I like what he's doing? No, but he's opening a hell of a lot of people's eyes as to how institutionally fucked up this country is.
That's a that's a bit of a controversial of you.
Oh, I'm controversy all the way down. You know, forget the turtles. It's all controversy.
Um. I mean, I get. I mean, I see the. I guess I see the logic, but you're basically in maybe I'm not. I don't know your head. Obviously, I don't know your thoughts, but I mean, I'm not inside your head. But it just seems like you're basically saying we got to. I mean, it's bad that this shit's going to happen, but it's for a greater good. It's like the end justify the means or something, and that's. I don't know. That doesn't sound good to me.
Well, yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's terrible. It's not a peaches and cream, all roses type outlook on things. It's not that we're at the pinnacle, that humans are the pinnacle of life and we're always going forward and being progressive. It's not that, but history doesn't show that to be the case anyway. Empires fall, and when they fall, it's usually from two main factors: people on the outside, like uh, China and Iraq and Russia, trying who want your power, and people on the inside who are fed up with how shit is, how shit is going. Usually, it's like lower middle, lower middle to middle class who want to have upper class privileges, or the the I want to say proletariat, but the masses who are just fed up with the scraps that they're given. But those two factors come together, and the empire falls. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of, are you ready for it, and how can you soften the blow even a little bit? And in our situation, the easiest way to soften the blow is to get rid of the Constitution and start it over. It's a 200-year-old document that wasn't written with us in mind or with our current situations in mind. And it needs to be redone.
You'll get no argument with me. I mean, it's just this whole idea that somehow a sacred document. I fucking hate that.
Hmm.
It's fucking a bunch of white dudes who thought they knew what the fuck they were doing. A bunch of rich white dudes who read a couple of books during the Enlightenment and said, "Oh, this might be neat. Let's try it." You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's then the one argument that I consistently get from people like my brother, who was a surrogate for Elizabeth Warren here in South Carolina.
Oh,
I mean,
I've
you
seen
know,
these. I've seen these conversations. Okay.
the one that I consistently get is, well, what are you gonna do afterwards? After you burn it down, what next? And my answer is always, I don't know. I don't know what would come next. However, I can guarantee you that whatever comes next will include LGBTQ, will include women, will include people of color, will include indigenous Americans, will include the disabled. I mean, it's by virtue of where we are as a society now. If everything just stopped and it was a blank slate starting right now, even with the 1% still controlling everything, it would still be better than the Constitution from 200 years ago. Even with that, only because other people are at the table. It's not just rich white landed men. That fact alone would make it better.
But what about all the people that inevitably die in a revolution or whatever you want to call it?
People die. To quote a president, it is what it is.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, I hate to quote him, but people die. People die in revolutions, in wars. What a lot of people are looking for is reform. Reform is gradual. Reform allows you to keep the people in power, to keep things the same, just make the conditions better for those on the bottom.
Right.
And reform can be peaceful. It usually is. You can reform things from the inside. But again, making things better for people at the bottom, incrementally, just slightly, is not what's going to save this country. Back in the 60s, Malcolm X, he was X at the time. He hadn't gone to the Hajj yet. So yeah, Malcolm X said something along the lines of, if you stab someone in the back with a 6-inch knife and pull it out 3 inches, you can't call that progress. You know? Progress would be taking the knife out completely, healing him, and giving him restitution for his time.
I see what you're saying. It's just you don't think reform can work anymore. You don't think okay.
No, I don't. No, I mean, and I can say that just that quickly without. No, I don't think reform can work, because reform is what allows places like Flint, Michigan, to not have water. How many years? Not have clean water. How many years later? Reform means that your local cops, your local pigs, have a body cam that they can turn on and off whenever they want to. And even if they are seen killing someone on camera, they still get off. But the reform that they're accountable because they have the camera now. That's reform. It's no. It's too late for those half measures anymore. And eventually, and I know I'm in the vast minority when it comes to this, but eventually enough people are going to see that, and it's going to be a hell of a lot worse when the people actually are watching this.
I know.
I put it in the Angry Black Rant group too, which you should probably start doing. But since you're a member and all,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
don't worry, I'm an admin. I won't get it kicked out or anything like that.
Okay.
But it's going to happen. It's the destruction is coming. There's ways to make the destruction, do it in a controlled way, like changing the Constitution, or not. You don't. What this country doesn't and never wanted is for people of color specifically to arm themselves in mass, which is the trend is going that way now. More and more people of color are registering for concealed carry, registering their guns, et cetera, et cetera. Because once that bowling point once we get there, it's over.
Yeah, I've seen that trend too. And as much as in theory, and for gun control, not in this circumstance, gun control only works if it works for everybody. If you're being selective about it, there's no fucking point. And if you're not
Right.
all in, there's no fucking point. So, I mean, if you're going to have guns, everybody should have. I mean, black people should have guns more so. I mean, that's how gun laws changed in California when the fucking Black Panthers came marching in the
Right.
state capitol or whatever,
Right. I'm actually a part of a group here in the Carolinas that is trying to get more black people registered and familiar with weapons. We actually had a little mini meetup yesterday. I went to Charlotte and taught some of our younger members, teenagers, still in high school. Basics of gun safety, how to shoot, how to load, what the gun is, and get them familiar with it. We're trying to we're small right now, so we're just doing the Carolinas, but the more people who are aware of their rights and exercise them, the ones that are actually in the Constitution, not like voting, which isn't there, the better it is. My father told me a couple weeks ago that he's going to get his CCP, his concealed weapon permit, in a few months, because he's finally listened to me. It's like, hey, if you have your gun, it's much harder for them to take it away from you than it is for you to try and get one if they tell you that you can't have it to begin with,
Right.
It's that whole permission versus forgiveness thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't it's hard to disagree with a lot of stuff in theory, I guess. A lot of that stuff in theory. And the gun thing, obviously, is honestly, everybody should have a fucking gun nowadays. It's just ridiculous.
Do
But
you?
who, me? No.
Why not? And why do you say it like that?
I don't like guns. I just don't. I mean,
Well,
some people.
I didn't either until I joined the army. I mean, their knives and lightsabers are such more elegant weapons for elegant times, as Obi-Wan would say. But but
I don't know. It's just
It's better to have one and not need it than to need it and not have it.
yeah, I guess, but you're more likely to get killed if you have a gun. That's what I mean,
Well, no,
especially
no,
in your
wait,
own
wait.
home.
You're more likely to get killed when you have a gun.
But that's
I
what I
can,
meant.
I no, no. You as a
Oh,
white
me.
male, I can be walking down the street with a bag of Skittles and a can of sweet tea, or be
Oh
reaching
no.
for my license, or there are so many other things that I am more afraid of than being shot in my home by an intruder or by one of my kids. My kids know how to use my guns. Ethan's what 11, Scarlett's 8. They know how to use them. The thing about it is we can't mythicize them and make them like, no, don't touch this. This is bad. This is adults only. Like, no, train them in how to use it, and you're gonna be okay.
I mean,
Let them, and that's the thing that doesn't happen in this country when it comes to guns and when it comes to sex even, and because that's where I'm getting it from. Because when it comes to sex, parents don't talk to their kids about sex for the most part. I mean, it's like, so they learn from other people and they learn the bad things, you know.
yeah, but you can't kill people with. I got a gun, but it's not the kind. Well, unless I have AIDS, I guess maybe. But that's not really a.
Oh, don't act like having kids before you are ready for them isn't a death shot. It's a longer one, but for careers, for uh, your own mental health, a lot of times, because now that you have someone else that you have to take care of, your goals and all are many times are put aside, especially if you have that kid younger and when you're not ready for it.
I mean, we could debate that, but I think the
Hey.
larger issue, like I said, anybody, I don't begrudge anybody. I guess having a gun. I mean, because it's like I said, you're never going to get rid of guns in this country. It's so ingrained in our culture. There's just no way. So at least if you're going to have a gun, at least be well trained. At least know how to use it. So I agree with what you're saying. If you're going to use a gun, you should be educated. But you're saying mythicize. I worry about the opposite, which would be fetishizing it, which I feel like too many people do that.
Well, yeah, I may have used the wrong term there, but yeah, fetishize is what I meant there. I apologize.
That's all good. I just wanted to make sure it's see what you mean
Yeah.
exactly. I just don't. I guess I don't like. Like I said, I mean, it's one thing to be like a hunter up in fucking Montana or something, and that makes more. But if you're, well, you know what I'm saying. But I mean,
Right.
I'm just if you happen to need a gun to kill whatever life. I mean, generally speaking, you're not looking to kill people, and generally speaking. But I mean, if you're like somebody in these fucking yahoos down here who have fucking walk into Walmart with fucking AK-47s. I mean, that's just fucking
Yeah, that's
insanity.
yeah that should be classified as a terroristic act,
That
because
is.
the only reason that you would do that, walk into a Walmart or somewhere else with an AK strapped to your back, is to intimidate other people, and that's a tactic that happens or happened. There are fewer open carry laws in the South nowadays, but that happened in the South all the time to intimidate Black folk from voting, from um, going into certain restaurants or certain areas of town. It is nothing but an intimidation process, uh, an intimidation tactic there. With me, if you ever see my gun, then
I'm going to use it.
Pretty much. I mean, there may be a slip up where you don't that where you see my shirt rides up or something. You don't see it there, but if you see my gun in my hand, it will be shot
Yeah,
because
don't.
by that time I fear for my life or the life of my kids or whoever else is around me. That I can understand.
Yeah, I
And
don't have. Yeah, it's like I
and
said. I mean,
and on the same token, that's that's why pigs have their gun, their sidearm nice and visible there. Intimidation. I've got the power. I will use this. No,
and they put their hand on the butt of the gun. Just that's an intimidation
oh,
technique right
oh,
there.
see, I would be happy if every time that I have encountered the cops, they just put their hand on the butt of the gun.
Oh well, yeah.
You know,
Obviously.
I've only gotten a couple tickets back when I was younger, but each time the cops drew down on me for speeding, for
He
having a
pulled out on you. Is that
pulled
what you
out
said?
on me. Yes,
Jesus
for
fucking
speeding.
Christ!
For the other time was my license plate had expired like the day before. Pulled out their weapon on me. It's like, oh, it's Saturday. I can't get it until Monday, but calm down. And this is before I had my concealed carry.
Oh Jesus!
This
God
this
only knows.
this is before I was as radical as I am now. Because I at one point I thought that reform could work, but then I started reading history, reading the laws in this country, reading the Constitution. Reform was done.
Again, I've gone further left as well. I mean, it's just I think you're probably a little more. Some people are more I don't know what the word is. Dangerous. You're dangerous, John. You're a dangerous person. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Like are more able to be active with. I'm not really that person, but I mean, I realize there are different roles for different people in any movement or whatever, and so I mean, but I don't begrudge anybody doing whatever they need to protect themselves, especially if you have a family. I mean, that makes more sense to me. You know, I mean, I don't know. I only have cats, so I mean, it's just basically me. So I don't know.
no,
Uh,
that and that's a part of the privilege that you have when it comes to it as well. Um, if things stay the same, if well, rather they're not going to stay the same. If things get worse, if things get to Nazi Germany level here, people like me would be staying in the attic of people like you. You know,
that's
you,
fair. Yeah.
it's just by virtue of my skin color and my being a male, being man, um, I'm a target. My son is a target, and yeah, that after a while, that's going to radicalize you. If you once you stop believing the the bullshit narrative that King was that King's way was the only way, that King was the one that that got us the Voting Rights Act and all that other bullshit. Once you see the back and forth between the non-violent ones and the more violent ones like Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam and Black Panthers and all, once you realize that you need both of us to make changes, you're gonna pick a camp.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, not everybody can be a soldier. I guess there has to be support too. That's always been my view anyway. I mean, John, we're kind of getting up on the hour here, but
No worry.
I just wanted to, as a last kind of summary of your position here, regarding voting, right? So I actually agree with you in just about everything because I'm not in a swing state. I'm still going to vote for Biden, but I feel less because actually I voted Green Obama's second term. I think it was because I knew it was more of a protest vote because fuck Obama. At that point, after the shit, I mean, people can say he was obstructed, whatever, but I still felt like he caved on a lot of stuff. But that's my own personal opinion. I can get pushback from that, I'm sure. But is that what are you basically, is your position that I mean, obviously vote you can't tell anybody else. You're not going to tell anybody else how to vote, but you're not going to vote because you live in a pretty safe red state and it's not going to make any difference.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, for president at least.
Oh, president, of course. And like you said, local is actually more, to me, is more, that's where you get shit done.
Yeah, it's not going to make much of a difference there, but it's going to make even then. Clyburn's been in office since I've been alive, I guess.
Oh, Jesus,
And again, hasn't done shit. But it's not going to do much, but it'll do more than president would, because at least there's a chance for local elections.
All right. Well, I won't keep you anymore, John. I know you got stuff to do. You got the kids there, man, and you got your drinks.
Well, I do need to re-up on the drink. And again, Powerpuff Girls is got them. They're loving it. The old classic ones. So gonna introduce them to Thundercats probably next week.
The old school one or the new one?
Yeah. So the Hulu has the '80s version. Okay. And the remake that happened in 2011 on. They just came out like yesterday or so. Okay. So.
All right, dude. I got to eat because I'm fucking starving. So, thanks for coming on again, John. And
no worries. Thanks for having me.
I'll see you around the internet.
Oh yeah, we may have to do a part 2 on Angry Black Rant.
Sounds good.
I've got something coming up this weekend, but maybe the weekend after that.
I'm here.
All right, man.
Take care.
Yeah, man, and happy birthday again.
Appreciate you.
All right.
That's it, y'all. John's awesome. Hopefully I get to go to Angry Black Rant and at some point. So keep your eyes peeled or your ears open. Until next time, y'all take it easy now, okay? I hate this.